Thank you, Dr. Ofren, and thank you, Dr. Poonam Khetpal Singh ji, for your very comprehensive and visionary statement, which will certainly boost the morale of the health ministries in the region. As we have talked about it earlier also, India initiated public health measures to prevent and contain the spread of SARS and CoV-2 since January 2020. In fact, within less than 24 hours of the first information that was received by the whole world from China through WHO, we had called our first meeting of group of experts, and these measures which have been taken over the last more than 8 months now have resulted in a case fatality rate of 1.68%, which is amongst the lowest in the world. To summarize, I would say that a number of measures were undertaken, such as issuing relevant travel advisories from time to time, creation of quarantine facilities for quarantining of persons returning from countries which reported cases of COVID-19, guidelines for community level surveillance, scaling up of testing facilities, tracking and tracing and testing of all suspect cases, establishment of COVID care centers, establishment of dedicated COVID health centers, and also dedicated COVID hospitals for the treatment of asymptomatic to mild, moderate and severe patients of COVID-19, increasing domestic production capacities for PPEs, ventilators and other medical items required for the treatment of COVID-19 patients. Also developing guidelines for infection prevention and control, testing protocols, clinical management and biomedical waste management, and then also guidelines to be followed by COVID and non-COVID health facilities, developing a web-based portal, S3 portal for states and UTs to report in detail about the testing, hospital admissions, discharges, deaths, and also to provide them future estimate of their requirement of medical items for COVID patients. Then also directive to all the states and UTs to provide non-COVID essential healthcare services. Then I would also like to mention just 3 important interventions that Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in the Government of India undertook for the management of COVID and also to maintain non-COVID healthcare services. The most important one of them has been the scaling up of testing capacity. Laboratory capacity for testing samples of SARS and CoV-2 using RT-PCR technique was increased from 1 lab in January 2020 to 1,678 labs now, including those in the government and private sector, where we use RT-PCR, TrueNAT and CBNAT technology. In fact, in a vast country like India, today within a traveling time of about 3 hours, we have an ordinary citizen in the country has access to a free testing facility. The network of laboratories has been developed all across the country, and testing laboratories are supported by a network of referral laboratories also, which collect and transport samples to the testing labs. Further, testing kits using rapid antigen assay and rapid antibody assay were also developed within the country and distributed to all states and UTs to enable testing and at the field level and also in containment zones, so that we could obtain results in a very short time span. Due to this capacity increase, right now more than 1 million tests per day are being conducted on a regular basis, which has helped direct a significant number of asymptomatic cases and contacts of confirmed cases. In fact, yesterday itself we tested almost over 1.1 million people, and this has significantly strengthened and helped in strengthening our surveillance and containment measures. Then another issue about which I would like to mention before the Honorable Ministers and the Regional Director is about the effective clinical management. Various measures were undertaken for effective clinical management of those who contracted the infection. Case definition of asymptomatic, mild, moderate and severe cases was done by eminent experts in line with the internationally accepted definitions. Emphasis was given and is being given to early hospitalization of those who require facility-based care to reduce morbidity and mortality. We are still working hard to bring our mortality rates to less than 1%. Guidelines were issued for home isolation of asymptomatic and mild cases who do not require any medical intervention. A set of guidelines were also issued for admission of moderate cases who will require oxygenation and other therapy, and to dedicated COVID health centers, and severe cases for the dedicated COVID hospitals for critical care. They have all been created in a big way all over the country. Clinical management guidelines to provide standardized health care to mild, moderate and severe cases were developed, and these have been shared with the states and UTs like all other advisories from time to time. The clinical management guidelines were reviewed and updated regularly as per the latest clinical data that was available to us from international sources from time to time. Centers of excellence were also set up in medical colleges and in the medical institutes of every state and UT to update the knowledge of the faculty of the state level colleges and institutes. Online training is also provided by the experts from apex medical institutions of the country to the faculty and medical practitioners at the state level. Then another issue is about maintaining essential non-COVID health services. The importance of maintaining essential non-COVID health services was recognized during very early phase of the pandemic, as it is equally important to provide life-saving health care to patients with chronic ailments, malignancies, blood disorders, to pregnant and elderly and those with emergent conditions that require urgent attention. And I would reiterate and say that right from the very beginning, we paid adequate attention to this very important aspect, which might have been ignored at many places. The directive was issued to all the states not to convert all their health facilities as dedicated COVID facilities and identify some as non-COVID facilities, so that they continue to provide healthcare services to those who require urgent medical care. There is a lot of innovative interventions that have been done over the last 8 months, but the paucity of time and the discipline that we are all supposed to follow doesn't allow me to talk about everything. I have to thank WHO once again for organizing this roundtable discussion, and which will make all of us far more richer in terms of our experience to deal with COVID in the future also. In India, a host of strategies are being implemented in the medium to long term to strengthen our core capacities under the international health regulations of WHO in order to augment the health emergency preparedness and response to prevent adverse effects of future pandemics in India. The Prime Minister had recently launched a very ambitious program about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and under the Pradhan Mantri Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, budgetary investments in health sector has already been increased to strengthen healthcare services, health emergency preparedness and response, and thereby strengthen IHR core capacities in a very big way. Expanding public health infrastructure, improving healthcare service delivery and quality. Also strengthening disease surveillance systems and outbreak response. Enhancing biosecurity preparedness and population health research are some of the focus areas under the Yojana launched by our Honorable Prime Minister recently post this COVID outbreak. In order to strengthen the core capacities, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India will adopt a coordinated approach with the states and UTs to work on a common framework to achieve the stated objectives. Further, we are also taking steps to enhance biomedical research and biosecurity policies, food and drug security and safety, create a coordinated implementation platform responding to multi-sectoral needs, including the engagement of the private sector in a big way. Efforts are also being made to identify with precision the bottlenecks and also to remove them to stimulate indigenous technology development under the Make in India initiative. During the last 8 months, after the COVID outbreak, health has received the much deserved attention in a big way. The Government of India has supported the state governments. Significant amount of money had been specifically allocated for the expenditure on health related issues, and more particularly for strengthening all infrastructure facilities all across the country to deal with not only this pandemic but also to simultaneously make sure that we are better prepared for any such unfortunate pandemic in the future. So I would say that in a way COVID has taught many lessons to the whole world, and for India also, where through our national health policy which was launched in 2017, there was already a commitment to improve our GDP spending on health significantly by the year 2025. So this whole activity has received quite a big boost, and right now this is not only the Ministry of Health which is working towards this goal, the finance ministry as well as many other ministries, there is a very thorough total government approach, and the way the things have been supported by everyone from all sectors of the government to strengthen the health movement in the country to deal with COVID. I think this is a great reassurance from the government for the people working in the field of health, and I can say with utmost confidence and certainty that in times to come, as per the international guidelines, advice, and of course the lessons that we have learnt for being better prepared to handle these emergencies in the future, India is now much more committed under Prime Minister Narendra Modi to handle issues, and also not to handle only, but also to support them with the backing of finance also. Thank you.